This is Phoebe Green and the Locker of Destiny, written and read by me, James Dubern. Now don't forget, the next book in the series, Phoebe Green and the Missing Kitten, is out now. You can get this on Amazon in paperback or ebook. Okay, back to the Locker of Destiny. We are on chapter 39. It's called Morning Run. Phoebe knocked on the door of Miss Perivale's study. Miss Parsley, who was walking along the hallway, did a double take. "Jolly japes, Phoebe. What are you doing?" she said. "I heard you'd left." "I need to speak with Miss Perivale. I have some important new evidence," Phoebe said. Miss Parsley dusted down Phoebe's sleeves and pushed a straggling hair over her ear. "Did you sleep in a bush?" she asked. "No," Phoebe said. "This is just what I look like." "Oh, I see. Well, Miss Perivale is out on her morning run, and you really need to request an appointment. Is it something I can help you with? I understand your parents are coming to collect you today." Phoebe shook her head. "You are lovely, Miss Parsley, and I most definitely did not break into your apartment. But this is between me and Miss Perivale. Where does she run?" Miss Parsley shook her head. "She'll be a while. She goes all the way round the cross-country track, down to the beach. I suggest you go and wait in the library. You had us all terribly worried." Phoebe bolted down the stairs and into the dining room, which was empty except for a dinner lady mopping the floor. "What on earth?" said the dinner lady. She raised a mop like a sword to block Phoebe's path. The young girl ducked under the dripping mop head and blasted through the double doors into the kitchen. A shriek went up from the cook, now arms deep in washing up water. Within seconds, Phoebe was back outside and sprinting across the lawn, the cold air stinging her eyes. The path through the woods was treacherous in her school shoes. The ground, sodden from last night's storm, was more like a ski slope than a running track. Still, Phoebe made it out of the trees and onto the beach, where her soles sunk into the soft, wet sand. In the distance, she spotted the head teacher, almost unrecognisable in a white skirt and vest top. From the neck up, she remained classic Miss Perivale, with dark hair that even the December wind couldn't budge. Phoebe raced to catch up. "Miss Perivale, Miss Perivale," she shouted. The head teacher looked back, saw Phoebe, and picked up her pace. "Get away from me," Miss Perivale shouted. Phoebe caught up and ran alongside. The sand was firmer beside the lapping sea. The December air was cold, but refreshing on Phoebe's hot face. "You run," Phoebe said. "What do you think?" Miss Perivale responded. "Go away. There's a reason I go out when the girls are at breakfast. I want some privacy. But alas, understanding people's privacy seems to be one of your difficult questions. That's what this is about." Phoebe raised up the book of difficult questions, and it flapped about in the wind. "I need to show you something." Miss Perivale sped up to get ahead of Phoebe. She looked ahead at the long stretch of beach, ignoring the girl who was racing alongside. "Remember that person who catted Miss Parsley's bedroom, left this book at the crime scene?" Phoebe panted. "That person is you," Miss Perivale said. She slowed down to a normal jogging pace since she had been unable to outrun Phoebe. "Well, they drew a diagram of how to carry a cat, which is hardly a difficult question." She flicked to the page and held it up. Miss Perivale ignored her, so Phoebe ran ahead, jogging backwards. "So what?" Miss Perivale said, swiping the book out of her way. "Now look at this," Phoebe said excitedly. She showed the previous page in which someone had started to draw a cat before starting again. "They left a fingerprint." Miss Perivale groaned again. "Girl, get back to the school or you'll be doing a yard of grass." "But I'm already expelled," Phoebe said. "Does that mean I'm unexpelled?" "What?" Miss Perivale frowned. "No, of course not." "Anyway," Phoebe said, "we have a fingerprint of the criminal, and I took the fingerprints of all the girls in Dorm 7. And the cat burglar is Megan Cates. She took my book, broke into Miss Parsley's apartment, and then left it there so I would be framed for a crime I didn't commit." Miss Perivale took this in as she jogged a few more paces. She slowed to a walk and took a reluctant look at Phoebe, as if she were a stray cat that wouldn't stop following her. She yanked the book, brought it close to her face, first examining the smudge and then the complete diagram. Finally, she saw the grid of fingerprints. "What am I meant to do with this?" she said, slapping the book back against Phoebe's chest. Miss Perivale set off in a jog towards the sand dunes at the back of the beach. Phoebe chased after her, her school shoes now full of sand. "You're meant to look at the evidence and reverse your decision," Phoebe called after her. Miss Perivale headed up a winding path into the dunes. The long, coarse grass whipped at Phoebe's shins as she followed. "I am not in the habit of changing my mind, girl," Miss Perivale said. "I've made a decision, and that decision is final. Your father is on his way." "But it's not fair," Phoebe said. "I can prove I didn't do it." At the peak of a dune, Miss Perivale stopped and turned back towards Phoebe. "Life isn't fair," she said, "but life is about rules. I teach girls to follow rules, and you are incapable of doing so. Even before the Miss Parsley incident, you tested my patience time and again. You left the school in the middle of the night in a wooden box." Phoebe stood a little below Miss Perivale, on the slope of a steep dune. The wind ripped across the beach and sandblasted her face. "I was carried outside by 4 girls," Phoebe said. "How is that my fault?" "You smashed a greenhouse," Miss Perivale thundered. "Well, yes, that's true," Phoebe said, "but I already cut some grass to pay for that." "You bullied a young girl so much that her own sister asked us to move her," Miss Perivale said. "Wait, what?" Phoebe gasped. "Chloe asked to get Megan moved." Miss Perivale nodded. "Megan thought I did it. That's why she tried to get me expelled," Phoebe said. The head teacher ignored her. "And finally, last night you had me call the police by running away. My work with you is done, girl," Miss Perivale said. She looked out to sea, hands on hips, breathing in the salty air. The gulls swooped and cawed, skimming the surface in search of fish. "Last night I was expelled, and there are no rules about non-Perivale girls being outside Perivale. There's a whole world full of them," Phoebe said defiantly. "We were on a break." Miss Perivale looked taken aback. Phoebe stepped up to the top of the dune and stood so close to the head teacher that she could smell her lavender-scented hairspray. "Perivale turns girls into ladies," Phoebe said, "and your job is not done. I am a girl. I'm an innocent girl with proof that I didn't do any crime. I am not yet a lady, and that means your work is not done." Miss Perivale sniggered. "So am I supposed to keep housing you and schooling you no matter how you behave?" she said. "You don't respect the spirit of Perivale." "Yes, I do," Phoebe said. "At Perivale, we learn to not give up. We go out and play hockey even if it's thundering with rain. We're made to sit on those benches until lunchtime to finish our porridge, even though it has 0 nutritional value, and I'm here fighting for my place. But you're giving up on me. That is not the Perivale spirit." Miss Perivale's eyes were wide and eyebrows raised. Phoebe detected the slightest curl at the corners of her mouth. The head teacher snatched Phoebe's book of difficult questions and ran off towards the school. "Leave me alone, Phoebe," she said. "So you do know my name," the young girl shouted back.